All right. Oh, come on, TikTok Studio, get your life together. Hello, Joseph. Okay. It's gonna take forever to load now. Come on. I don't know why TikTok thinks they have to be special. Good morning, Jay. Go live. Thank you. Get that together. There. Okay. There. And now keep doing that. You can be live on all the things now. I'm gonna just fix this. Okay. Perfect. Done, done, done. Okay, let's get some music going, and we will start the day. I believe. Hi, Dragon's Kill. Hello, everybody. Lanati was right, Raid. Oh, yeah. Hi, Mike. Hi, Ari. Good morning. You support Trump because he's handsome and have a great hair. Okay. Thanks, Peter. Good morning, X. Good morning, everybody. Make sure we're doing all the good things as we come in. YouTube, I know you guys can't hear the music, and I apologize for that, but YouTube and copyrights. So just will you make sure that you hit the thumbs up button while you're over there? I would appreciate it. TikTok, you guys do the things you guys know you need to do. Tap that screen before we get our intro started today, okay? DB, what do you think the America Save Act is? Can you describe it to me? I think you might be confusing it with something else. I just want to make sure. Hello. Good morning, good afternoon to those of you in the East Coast. I appreciate you guys being here today. It is Wednesday, so thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate it. Let's get started today, guys. If you are watching over here on TikTok, can you make sure that you are tapping that strange raid? Welcome in. Make sure we are tapping that screen. We like to hit 50,000 likes before we hit the top of the hour. I know you guys can do better. I've seen you guys do better. You guys have been doing wonderful with the taps, and I appreciate it. So make sure that we are doing that. You can see your progress on this little like bar above my head. I love that. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. You can share the live. You can repost it. You can add it to your story. You can share it to 5 of your friends. I would appreciate it if you did that. It does push us onto the algorithm. Do your daily heart me if you have not done so. So if you see the little follow button up at the top and you're not following me, why aren't you following me? If you are following me, you should see a golden heart up there. If you click on it and do send daily heart me, please make sure you're doing that. It does give you access to the stickers, a lot of them of my face in the chat that you can use. We love that. Love to do that. I have my little roses goal up there. If we could start getting that accomplished, that would be great. DB, the only thing I need you to answer instead of your whataboutisms that you're doing right now.
What about Biden?
Is I need you to answer me because you said specific, it means that you have to have ID to vote. Oh, sweetie, I knew it. Sorry, little bit of an interruption in the morning announcements. DB, the Save America Act did not get signed. That's not what he signed, honey. He signed the reconciliation bill for $70 billion for funding for DHS, ICE, and CBP. Not the same thing. Ooh, it's really difficult when you all are confused. Like really, really, really difficult when you guys don't pay attention. That did not pass. You are talking about that he signed today is the Secure, listen to my words, Secure America Act. That's what he signed. The Save America Act is still dead on arrival in the Senate. Sorry about that, babes. All right, anyway, where was I? If you're watching over on YouTube, guys, if you could hit that thumbs up button for me, I would really, really appreciate it. Guys, you can become a member over there. I would appreciate if you did that as well. You can send jewels, you can send donations, you can send super chats. If the chats start to go by too quickly and you have something really important you would like me to read, whether it's a hate message or not, I will read it, but you have to send a super chat to do so. Over there on Twitch, hello, my lovely Twitch people. I appreciate you guys being there. You guys know that you can send bits and you can subscribe if you would like to. That does give you access to the emotes or the same stickers that we use over here on TikTok. I would appreciate it if you did that. I have 9.5 left in my goal. Thank you to Nina for the $5 this morning. You said it's all men, which it is, and that you were following Olive's directive to donate, and I appreciate it. So thank you, Nina, for the 5. That brings us down to 9.5. Guys, this is my job. This is what I do for a living. So I would appreciate it if we could crowdfund Dollar Train, $2 Train to get that knocked out today. The pay links are in the link tree in my bio. It's going to be just Monida on all platforms, Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal. So thanks. I'd appreciate it. I know you Dems are naive to the facts, but read up on it. All right, DB, let's start our day with this. Ready? Ready? Save America Act. So if he signed it, if it passed and he signed it, let's go to Congress. Okay, you see how it's already purple because I've clicked on it before? Okay. Oh, that's interesting. It's only been introduced. You see, when it becomes a law after the president signs it, this lights up. See, what he did sign today is the Secure America Act. Okay. Oh, look, all the stories from today. Trump signs the $70 billion Secure America Act for immigration enforcement. Okay. Not that one, because he just signed it. Past that. Well, maybe they haven't updated it, because he did sign it literally this morning, so they might not have updated it. But that's the one he signed. Here, you want to go back to this one? Let's go to this. Trump's obsession with Save America Act puts MAGA pressure on Thune. Thune pushes back on Trump's call to fire Senate parliamentarian. Nothing about him signing it. Probably because it hasn't passed, right, DB? Okay, I'm glad we could look that up together. Hooked on phonics worked for me. All right, guys, we'll get started today. Jesus. They're not smart. Not smart beings. Or they're just willfully ignorant, which I hate. How much is Hillary paying me? She's not paying me anything, but guys, if you have not contributed to your Antifa dues that we owe George Soros, please do so. Again, it is just Monida on all platforms. You can check the link tree in my bio to Cash App, Venmo, and PayPal to make sure that we pay George Soros what we need to pay George Soros. All right, let's get started today because it seems like you guys are having a bad day. Let's talk about why. Let's talk about why we're having a bad day over on the MAGA side. Yeah, no, Izzy, he breathes down my neck. Absolutely. He wants to make sure that we pay him so he can pay us to protest. That's what I'm hearing. So that's what we have to do. SpaghettiOs.
The index that goes back to 1913 comes in at 335. Why do I mention that? Because it's another new all-time high. After 100 and X years, we are now continually almost on a month-over-month basis moving up on the index. And if you look at the core index, same scenario except for 336. This started in 57, once again a record. You know what? I think we need to also look at real average hourly earnings. Year over year, they came in -0.7. And the reason I'm looking at these, because last month we turned it negative at -0.3, first negative number since Feb of 23. Now this now becomes the most negative number also since Feb of 23, because that was -1.1. And if we look at year over year weekly average hourly earnings, same.
Oh, pretzels. Pretzels, you need to pay attention. Pretzel said, JD Vance 2028. ICE is here for us. Not only Black Lives Matter. There are only two genders, but this one's my favorite. The highest inflation when Biden was in office was 9.1, which is true. In the month of June, in the year of 2022, what you're not factoring in is that when Biden left, it was 3.0. But here's my favorite part. As we're starting our day, you said the highest inflation for Trump is 3.8%. What's this? What's this? We're literally talking about, did you not know, Pretzels? It came out today. Did you not know? Guys, make sure you tap the screen. I got live visibility restricted.
Scenario, it turned negative last month at -0.2, first time since May of 23. Now it's even more negative at -0.4, which equals May of 23. To find a more negative number, you're in April of 23.
By the way, DB, where'd you go?
So the inflation, of course, affecting average hourly earnings both on a weekly and hourly basis. We want to make sure that earnings keep up with inflation. We don't necessarily want them to be much faster. We don't necessarily want to embed inflation in the wage component. That certainly doesn't seem to be happening here. Interest rates, they were really bouncing around a bit. 10-year briefly traded down to 451. It's back to 453, which it was pre-number, and that's up 1 basis point. Back to you.
So, Crit, what I will ask you is what policy Biden had that directly affected the inflation being 9% in 2022. That's what I'll ask you. W's, Again? How does this keep happening to you? It's coming from Justin's account. So W's for the $2 train. Choo-choo. Hi, Mia. Hi, Mia. I love you. W's to Justin's account for the $2. You know, he was hacked by George Soros last week, and apparently Justin's Venmo is still compromised. This is Hillary Clinton. Oh my God. Using his account for the $2. Keep up the great work. Thank you, Hillary. I'm so glad that you could pay me. I appreciate it, and I will keep spreading all the propaganda for you. Oh, wait, it's all backed by fact, so never mind. But thanks, Hillary. I appreciate it, guys. Okay, let's get to Fox News' reporting on this. Actually, before we do that, let's show the actual report, since you guys don't understand how this works. This is the Bureau of Labor Statistics. This is a government website. This is where they release this information. Guys, if you're in my Discord, I have a whole live sources section that is specifically BLS reports. All I post in there are the CPI reports and the jobs reports. That's it. That's all. I don't post articles. I don't post news stories or news videos. I just post these documents that they release, okay? So, again, this is the Consumer Price Index for May. They report it the month after, right? The Consumer Price Index for all urban consumers, CPIU, increased 0.5% on a seasonally adjusted basis in May, after rising 0.6% in April, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported today. Over the last 12 months, so year over year, the all items index increased 4.2% before seasonal adjustment. So again, Crit, I'm still waiting for you to give me a policy that Joe Biden directly effectuated the increase in inflation of 9.1% in June of 2022, and what made it different when he left office. That's very interesting to me. But remember, Donald Trump is the one who campaigned on the fact that he was going to lower prices day one, he was going to defeat inflation. Actually, we have had several months where he said, I have ended inflation, I have defeated inflation, and yet here we are, 4.2%. So I guess I just wanted to make sure you guys saw that. Okay, let's get to Fox. Maria Bartiromo's reporting on the inflation report today.
Coming in right in line with the estimates that we got. Let me run through them really quick. Month over month, we got a jump of 0.5%.
Real quick, though, W's to Juicy Juice. Thank you, Juicy Juice, for the $2 train. Choo-choo! I appreciate you for Antifa. Thank you for getting your Antifa dues in, guys. We can't do our BLM bake sale, Black Lives Matter bake sale, without those Antifa dues. So thank you. I appreciate it.
That was the expectation from ACPI. That's the headline number, 4.2% year over year. The headline number, that was in line. That is a jump from last month's 3.8%. So it rose month to month, to be clear. This year-over-year headline number is the highest number we've seen since April of 2023. Core month over month, I will say, not quite in line, 0.2%. The expectation, 0.3%, pretty close, core month to month. And then 2.9% year over year for core May CPI.
Crit said the American Rescue Plan for printing money. How many stimulus checks did Joe Biden release? 1. And no, I'm not giving you the answer, although I just did. But that's my first question. How many stimulus checks did Joe Biden release compared to Trump's first term? And then you also said because he locked us and businesses down like the authoritarian leftists are. When did the lockdown, the shutdown because of the CDC, when did that happen? Does anybody remember? I do, because it was specifically on a very special day in Colorado when the last concert that I saw was a 303 concert, and it happened on a very specific day in a very specific year. Also, states did do the lockdowns. Yeah, thank you, Audrey. Oh, thank you. Crit, when was that lockdown? Who kept it going much longer than it needed to? Not Joe Biden. The states did that, you realize. Because Florida actually was locked down the least amount of time. Right? Okay, so it was 2020. Could it have been that we had a supply chain issue? Could it have been that? Because did you know that during that same amount of time, the UK had about 11 or 12% inflation during that time because of the pandemic? Do you know that? I didn't say nothing is Biden's fault. I can blame Biden for things. I have no problem doing that. Joe Biden shouldn't have run again. He shouldn't have told the American people that the economy was doing well when they didn't feel it in their pocket. He absolutely should not have done that. I have no problem with that. But I find direct correlation to things, unlike you. Okay.
PI, that was the expectation, 2.9%. Let me tell you what the government is saying, because, again, it was the energy story that we saw last month. I will tell you the energy index did jump again month to month, 3.8%. But what the government is saying is that the 3.9%, jump for energy for the month of May is a core piece, and that is 60% of what we have seen in the increase that we're looking at. And the markets, of course, are reacting. Shelter off.
KD, and you said, do you think Trump did a good job on his first term? Not really. If you look at 2017, he seemed to be doing okay. Obviously that was his first year, but he wasn't inaugurated until January of that year. And then into 2018, when his policies really started taking effect, right? Like the TCJA took effect. His tariffs on steel, lumber, and soybeans took effect. We started to see a downturn. If you look at articles, you can search articles from September of 2019, specifically, before COVID. You can find where economists were talking about an incoming recession because of his tariff policy, because of his economic policy. So if he would have just continued doing what like Obama had set up in his administration, he probably would have done a lot better. But he decided he was going to do these tariffs again, which do not do anything, does not do a good job at creating trade deals for us. In a world economy, we are a world economy as much as he doesn't want to think so. And so unfortunately, that pushed us, again, economists were the ones saying in 2019, we're headed towards a recession. I actually will always say, I don't blame him for the pandemic, let's be clear, because what the fuck? He didn't cause that. Now, he did fire the pandemic response team when he first got into office. Probably not a good idea because, we ended up having a pandemic. Not his fault that we had a pandemic, however. But what I will say is the pandemic saved Donald Trump. It really, really saved him from society being able to actually see what his economic policies were doing to hurt us. Because everybody was hurting. The entire earth was hurting because people were dying at a massive rate. And we had, countries had shutdowns. We had shutdowns. There was global supply chain issues because of it. So he was really saved by that. And now I think we're starting to see what his economic policy actually does when he's left to his own devices. On top of starting a war that we didn't need to be in, but...
Also increased in May, 0.3%, and food increased as well in May, 0.2%. And the food at home index rose, food away from index home rose. A lot of this, Maria, as I send it back to you, can be tied to the fertilizer issues that we see coming out of the Middle East, those shipments, those prices. 10% of aluminum comes out of the Middle East. So that food price story does kind of also go in line with the issues that we're seeing with the Strait of Hormuz and the supply chain. Basically, look, this is the fastest annual pace we've seen in a couple of years here, and you also have a stable labor market. All these things will be for the Fed to discuss next week. Maria, back to you.
All right. Thank you, Cheryl, for that. To me, this is better than expected because it's priced in that we've got an inflation problem, Leon.
What the fuck, Mia? Okay, hold on. So again, he's signing the Secure America Act, not the Save America Act. So sorry, DB, for your confusion. Let me see if I can find this. I know you sent it to me in that format. Let me see if I can find where the fuck. Gas prices are going to go up, by the way, because he just said we're going to resume bombing Iran again. Where the fuck? So I want to be able to pull it up. Okay. This was Donald Trump 17 minutes ago. Jesus Christ. Why do you guys let him do this? About the inflation. The inflation we're talking about right now, it is up 4.2%. Here's your president.
Sure, the right people come into our country.
Are you going to go to any meetings?
I will.
I
will.
Are you concerned, Mr. President, about the latest inflation number which came out this morning? Could that be a
No, I love it.
for
The numbers were
Republicans
great.
to try and
You know what I
hold
really
the
love?
Senate?
I love the inflation. You know why? Because as soon as this war is over, I can say it now. Something you didn't know. Do you know we've been taking out millions of barrels of oil.
But I'll let him finish. Don't worry. But he just said, I love the inflation. The numbers are good. 4.2% is bad. We want it within a range of 2 to 3%. So he's never going to get his interest rates lowered that he wants. Yeah, and he didn't even finish the sentence. He pivoted, which, by the way, as soon as this war is over, again, literally 20 minutes after this, I just went through Twitter and found a clip of him saying we're going to resume the bombing. So when's the war going to be over? What? Here, I'll start it from the beginning and you can finish.
I will.
I
will.
Are you concerned, Mr. President, about the latest inflation number which came out this morning? Could that be a
No,
headwind
I love it.
for
The
Republicans
numbers were
in terms of
great.
trying to hold
You know what I
the
really
House and
love?
Senate?
I love the inflation. You know why? Because as soon as this war is over, you know, I can say it now. Something you didn't know. Do you know we've been taking out millions of barrels of oil? Nobody knows it. You know who doesn't know about it? Iran until right now. We took out the other night 22 ships late at night with no lights.
Then where is it? Why is it not seeping into the global market? Where is it? Where?
They don't have any radar because we blasted the crap out of it.
Kev Dog, no, I'm not going to talk about that.
We took out, that's why oil's $85 a barrel. I mean, you take a look. Remember when I did this, I said, look, the one bad thing will be we hit the best economy we've ever hit. And I said to my people, I had Scott,
We've hit the best economy we've ever hit? What?
I had Howard, I had Pete, I had all of them. I had Todd in the room. I said, the one thing we have to do now, we had just hit the highest stock market in history, highest 401ks in history. Everything was going well. And I said, I hate to do this to you guys, but Iran's going to have a nuclear weapon very soon. We have to go and attack.
Our intelligence, again, nobody in our intelligence says that.
So we hit them with the B-2 bombers.
Okay, so then he goes off on his story about Midnight Hammer. So we're going to leave that there. That's him talking about inflation. But what I want to show you then is he says it'll come down. And KDN, you are asking if it will come down. It would probably come down. The problem is that we were seeing stagnant issues before that, right? So, okay. The 3.0, I count for, it's hard because it's like you can count it for Biden when Biden left, or you can just do December. It's a lot easier. If you want to say that the last one for Biden is 2.9 in December, or you can do 3.1 or 3.0, excuse me, in January 2025. I don't really care, but it's kind of hard to give it both to Biden and Trump because they're like half and half of that month. But it starts going down, but then here in June, July, August, September, it started to go back up. They decided we just weren't going to have numbers in October because of the shutdown, even though we've had shutdowns in previous years of Donald Trump where we still got numbers, but this one, no, we couldn't. November and December, 2.7, 2.7. We come into 2026, 2.4, 2.4, and we were just kind of stagnant sitting there. But again, I don't know. So the question I will ask for MAGA conservatives, and I guess leftists, just in case you don't know. When we look at this number, okay? When we look at this number, what is inflation? What does it mean? What does that number mean? Can you guys tell me what inflation is? I know there's a delay, so I'll let you look at that. Joseph said the value of the dollar. No, inflation affects the value of the dollar. Yeah, Chuck, yeah, it's the cost of goods increasing, but it is what Ari said, which is the rate at which prices increase. So what that means is this entire time, all of that, that means that prices are increasing point blank, period. Point blank, period. Prices are going up. Now, the rate at which they're going up, which again, Donald Trump is the one who said he was going to bring cost down. He was going to bring prices down. He's not doing that. If in November and December it's 2.7, that means that the cost of goods is increasing at a rate of 2.7 year over year, 2.4 year over year, 2.4 year over year. Yes, now this is going to be where we got into a war with Iran that we didn't need to, but 3.3 year over year, 3.8 year over year, 4.2 year over year. Prices are increasing. So let's say the war ends tomorrow. Okay? The war ends tomorrow. So then when we get June's numbers next month, okay? Let's say it goes down to, what would be a good number? 2.1. Let's say the inflation drops down to 2.1. Now that we've just talked about it, what does that mean for prices? That means that prices are going up at a rate of 2.1%. It means it's still going up. Prices are still going up. He's not doing anything through policy or legislation to bring prices down. You guys have to understand what these numbers mean. Like, I need you to understand what these numbers mean. Okay. In the same vein of economy, we have a couple other things. CNBC did a conversation reporting on the NFIB Small Business Survey, and that it's at its lowest since October 2024. And why this is an issue, because it is an issue with hiring. People are, we've even seen that. We saw it in the jobs report for May that came out, which is that it's a slow hiring, slow firing economy, which is not good. But that means that businesses are trying not to fire, but they're really trying not to hire because it is so up and down. It is so tumultuous, so volatile for you volatility traders. You're sick human beings, but it's so volatile that they don't know what to do with their businesses.
Interesting thing, NFIB Small Business Survey, which we do watch.
Yes, we should.
To some degree, Jim. It's in a bit of a downtrend. This is the lowest here since October of 24. The net percent of owners.
Yeah, no, he's totally going to bring inflation down by 600%. Mm-hmm. Totally. Right? Right?
Owners planning to create jobs in the next 3 months is basically at COVID lows. You got to go back to May of 2020.
Yeah, well, there is a bit of a funk. There's a belief.
So what he said, and I'll play it again, is that the hiring is at its lowest levels since COVID, when nobody was hiring. Like, I don't think you guys understand how bad it truly is. No, I saw it, Peabody. I love that for him. Just as a side note, has nothing to do with the economy, but Jake Lang was arrested on making terroristic threats, and his bond is $1 million in Texas. Love that for him.
Lowest here since October of 24. The net percent of owners planning to create jobs in the next 3 months is basically at COVID lows. You got to go back to May of 2020.
Yeah, well, there is a bit of a funk. There's a belief that rates aren't going to come down and costs are going up, and it's a little bit more of a dice roll to start something now than it was. Got to see gasoline down. Everyone. Gasoline is a pervasive thing. We don't sit there and think about our heating bill or air conditioning bill, which we should, because those are very big bills, but they come in monthly.
Interesting thing.
Donald Trump is hurting the American people with a war we didn't need to be in. And yet, you guys keep glazing his taint for it. I don't understand it. But here we are. Guys, it is 10:30. We are at 68,000 likes. Thank you guys so much. Let's make sure we are keeping that up. You guys are doing fucking fantastic on the likes, and I appreciate it. But I have been live for 30 minutes, and we have not completed this rose goal, and it's the only gift goal I've had up. What are we doing? What are we doing? Also, I have 9-1 left in my goal. If we could start getting that accomplished, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, all in the link trees in my bio. Let's Dollar Train, let's $2 Train. Thank you guys. Dollar Train, $2 Train, let's start getting that working. I don't know why you guys want me to be mean to you. I really don't. You guys know the things you're supposed to do. I'm not your mother. I shouldn't have to tell you the things you need to do. You absolutely know what you need to do.
Like that on Trump's face.
It always does that. I hate it. It always does that shit. Oh, DJ Bookie is here. Yeah, you're being very bad, DJ Bookie. What are you doing? What are you doing? Do I need you need to get on your knees for me? Do you need to look up at me in my eyes? But then I'm going to tell you to look away. Because you're not doing the things you need to do. Like, and I can't with you. All right. Continuing on inflation. This is Peter Schiff. Peter Schiff is the CEO of Euro Pacific Asset Management, which means he's some sort of rich bitch motherfucker who I don't really give a fuck about, but ma'am, this is TikTok. Look, I got taken down yesterday. What more do they want from me? Okay. And he is talking about what I have been talking about and many of us have been talking about for a while, which is that a crash is coming. A crash is coming. And I don't know why we keep pretending like there's not. It is going to be 2008 levels, if not worse. It is coming. The reason we're not seeing it coming is because the Trump administration is trying to hide it as best as possible. But this is Peter Schiff talking about that and the metrics at which they are looking at for why we think a recession or a crash is coming.
Trump has it backwards. The world economy doesn't.
Nancy, no, Obama did not keep Iran in power, sending money and weapons. Can you prove to me that he sent them weapons? That's interesting. Money, one instance of money was frozen assets that they released, and the other one was actually a court-adjudicated deal on an arms deal that we fell through our portion of the bargain on, not from Obama's administration, but actually previous. I think it was like in the 70s we had a deal with them that we never followed through on, and we had to pay money and interest to them for that. And by the way, it didn't come in US dollars. It came in like francs. So try again.
Trump has it backwards. The world economy doesn't work because of us. Our economy works because of the world. We have a dysfunctional consumer-based credit economy that rests on the foundation of the U.S. dollar's reserve currency status, and the world is now pulling the rug out from under the U.S. The dollar's going to collapse. The dollar's going to be replaced by gold. Central banks are buying gold to back up their currencies. They're getting rid of dollars.
Central banks are buying gold. Why? Because when the dollar is worth nothing, we go back to gold. We go back to heavy metals.
Getting rid of treasuries. We are headed for an economic crisis, again, that will make...
Nancy just said Obama was a Muslim. You guys are not okay.
The 2008 financial crisis looked like a Sunday school picnic. The biggest difference between the crisis that we're about to have and the one we had back then is this one is all in America. It's not going to be exported to the rest of the world. It's not a global financial crisis. It's an American financial crisis. The rest of the world is actually going to benefit. Trump has it back.
That's the difference. Whereas the housing market affected the world globally, this one is self-caused by us. This is going to be us. It's going to be us. W's to Dale for the $10 says, with the little minion emoji going, mwah. Love you, Monty. Thank you so much for everything you do. Thank you so much. I'm going to do these one at a time or else you know me and my math. You know me and my math. I can't do it. I can't do it. So thank you for that. W's to Steph for the 453 with the eyeball emojis. Thank you. Now I can do math. I can't do math. We know this about me. Oh, I see what you were trying to do. Wait, I see what you were trying to do. So look, I'll give it to you just because, like, I love you guys. That's what Steph was trying to do. There you go. Love that. But this is what it actually is because of Dale's money. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. And then where was this one? Because I could do it. I know how to do it. Oh my God. Thank you, Olive, for the, why can't I want to bring up? Thank you, Olive, for the $7.99 for, yes, Mommy. Thank you for being there for me. I am beyond proud to be your work wife. I love you. Now I have to math.
I didn't mean to add the 99, but you know what?
It's fine. It's fine. Everybody loves it when I have to pull out the calculator and do the math. It's fine. It's a part of the show now. You guys to torture me.
Yeah, the fraction section.
So thank you guys. That brings us down to 68.48. I appreciate it as we keep going today. And then I have one more thing on the economy that we are going to get to. Let me put this up. This is Steve Eisman. He was the inspiration for the character Mark Baum in the movie The Big Short. If you've never seen The Big Short, you need to. I actually, you know what I should do? We should do a movie night one night if I can find The Big Short, and we should play it for people who haven't watched it. It's a fucking fantastic film. Yes, the characters' names are made up, but the characters were based off of real characters during the time, right up until the housing market crisis in 2008. It's a wonderful fucking movie. Wonderful in the sense that you will leave pissed off at literally everybody. But it is fantastic. It is very informational. Besides the fact that it has a rock star fucking cast, it's almost like a documentary. The way that they describe it is so accurate. So this is Steve Eisman, again, the inspiration for the character, Steve Carell's character, Mark Baum, in The Big Short. And he is talking about something that a lot of people don't necessarily know about. I'm not sure. For those who do, I'm not a big stock person, so I hear it from other creators in secondhand. And that is the fact that Elon Musk is trying to take SpaceX public. He's trying to do a SpaceX IPO. And what is happening now is a lot of companies are offloading other stock so that they have room for SpaceX when it goes public. So Steve Eisman is going to talk about the fact that the SpaceX IPO stock price is going to be used to buy Tesla, even though Tesla is bleeding money. Like, Tesla is bleeding money. And so he's kind of giving a warning about this and doing it because we're just repeating the same mistakes. We are repeating the same mistakes with the housing market, but this time with tech.
Do you expect him to buy Tesla? I'm expecting that he's going to use the stock price, perhaps, of SpaceX to buy Tesla and create sort of one giant company called X.
I wouldn't doubt it. I think if I was a shareholder of SpaceX, that'd be the last thing in the world I'd want him to do. But I'm sure he's going to do it. I mean, if you look at Tesla, the earnings have gone straight down for the last 4 years. Every single year that they have gone down. The EV business is just not that great a business. It's also a capital-intensive business that's highly competitive. You know, China produces EVs much cheaper than Tesla does. If I was a SpaceX shareholder, the last thing.
God, let China sell me a BYD. And I know that sounds terrible and anti-American production, but I'm just saying, those cars are fucking... Like, China is light years ahead of us on tech. They just are.
I'd want would be for him to buy Tesla.
Yeah, there have been people who said the way to get into SpaceX, if you can't get a hold of the shares
is to buy Tesla. Yeah,
right.
I wouldn't doubt that he buys it, but like I said, that's not something I would want him to do.
I'm just saying, I would maybe listen to the man who... He made money off of the crash by getting the word that it was coming when everybody else said it wasn't. But, you know, I would say he knows what he's talking about in there. I would say that. W's to Oh Me, Oh My for the 1848. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It does bring us down to 50, which is a lot more reasonable, calming number. It does. It makes me happy in my soul. And then also W's to DJ Bookie for the $5 on the Green app. And you said, for being my TikTok wife. I do love being your TikTok wife.
Hey.
Even though that means I have to nag you sometimes, but you like that. So it's okay. It's totally fine. Lakin, you guys are trying to torture me with decimal points again. That's why your alter ego is Satan, Lakin. I know it. And I love it. But how dare you? Okay. A few things on Iran. So let's talk about what we already knew about from yesterday, but we're going to dig into it and talk about it a little bit. Okay. U.S. strikes Iran in response to downing of military helicopter. The U.S. says it has carried out a series of strikes on Iranian military and surveillance sites in response to the downing of an American helicopter in the Gulf. Air defense systems, ground control stations, and radar sites were targeted near the Strait of Hormuz, the U.S. Military Central Command CENTCOM said. In response, Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, said it launched strikes on 21 targets at U.S. bases in the region, one in Bahrain and the other in Jordan, while Kuwait's army said it was also intercepting an attack. The U.S. has described its strikes as a proportional response for the Apache helicopter downing on Monday, while the IRGC described the attacks as vicious. U.S. President Donald Trump had earlier accused Iran of shooting down the helicopter and said the U.S. must, of necessity, respond. The two crew members survived and were rescued by an American Sea drone. According to U.S. officials, Iran used a drone to launch the attack on the helicopter, but it is not clear whether the Iranian drone had deliberately attacked, an unnamed U.S. official told CBS News. The semi-official Mehr news agency reported that Iran had not claimed responsibility for the downed aircraft. Trump said the helicopter had been patrolling the Strait of Hormuz, a critical shipping channel that was effectively closed days after the U.S. and Israel launched its strikes on Iran in late February. On Wednesday, the IRGC said U.S. strikes had damaged a telecommunications tower and 2 water tanks, and added the U.S. had targeted the cities of Josk and Sirik and Kishim, an island in the Gulf. And I apologize if I butchered those names. I apologize. Yeah. U.S. officials are yet to comment on reports of attacks on its bases, and it is unclear if there's been any damage. Jordan's military said it had shot down 5 missiles fired from Iran. Earlier, an air raid alert was issued in Bahrain, according to local authorities who said Iranian attacks had been repelled. Iran's foreign minister issued a threat to the U.S. in the aftermath of the renewed U.S. attack, saying the country will leave no attack or threat unanswered. Despite its defeat on the battlefield, the U.S. opted to test our determination, Iran's foreign minister Abbas Araghchi wrote on X. He added, "Leave our region if you want to be safe." So, by the way, when this was first reported that they had downed an Apache helicopter and that the pilots had been rescued, Donald Trump said it's not that big of a deal. But then all of a sudden it was. I don't know exactly what changed about that, but sure. So then this was, this was Mike Johnson talking about the fact where he was in the Situation Room when these, what they're calling defensive strikes, occurred.
Yeah, it was announced just as we were walking in here, there is a defensive strike that has been taken. It is proportional and limited, the White House.
But also that, Casey, but Iran doesn't have a military. I thought we obliterated their military. They have no air force. They have no anti-aircraft.
It was announced just as we were walking in here, there is a defensive strike that has been taken. It is proportional and limited. The White House and the Pentagon have announced and said it's against unjustified Iranian aggression. They did notify me as the leader of the House before this began, and it's targeted strikes to the radar, missile, and command and control sites, and it is defensive in nature. We lament that that has become necessary, and the reason it did, as you all know, is because Iran struck U.S. assets and personnel. We can't allow that.
Yeah, unjustified is insane. We attacked them, but sure. Also, R. Grimm, you said that's why Trump is president and a billionaire and you're not. My not what? Oh, used the wrong use of your. Okay, Y-O-U apostrophe R-E means you are. Y-O-U-R means you're. And he's only a billionaire because he's robbing the U.S. blind. Okay.
And so we're going to have to take care of this business. So I was at the White House today. I think it was a couple hours in the Situation Room this morning, and the Vice President was there, Secretary of State.
You don't care that you are incorrectly using words? Sounds like that's why you're MAGA. That sounds right.
Secretary of War, CIA Director, and others.
I mean, Casey, you didn't have to do that. I don't care. Go ahead, get him. But I don't care when they call me a cunt. Why didn't I ask President Bush what? What was I supposed to ask President Bush? You know, Bush was elected when I was 9 years old. What was I supposed to do about him? Born to be a frat boy, forced to be a president. Now watch this drive.
We were with the president, and we talked about Iran and a number of other matters. Yeah.
The Epstein files, yeah. Bush had them. Clinton had them, because there were reportings from that. So Clinton, Bush Jr., you would have had Obama that had them for 8 years, and you had Trump's first term, he had them, Biden had them, and Trump has them now and is doing absolutely nothing about it except trying to hide it. So if you would like me to critique all the previous administrations for doing that, I can. Can you critique him? I bet you can't. Okay. All right. So we keep hearing, or no. Let's go to his truths first, because Donald Trump truthed quite a bit because he's mad now, right? So here's one. Iran's military is a complete and total mess. It's such a mess that they were able to shoot down one of our Apache helicopters, but whatever. Much of it, like their Navy and Air Force, doesn't even exist anymore, except for they can shoot down our Apache helicopters. They have been completely defeated. Iran is all talk and no action, except for they shot down our Apache helicopter. The bully of the Middle East is dead. They've taken too long to negotiate a deal that would have been great for them. Now they will have to pay the price. The interesting thing about that is Donald Trump has been the one saying, he literally said it, not yesterday, it would have been the day before, the night after the Knicks game that he fell asleep at, when he was on the tarmac to go back to the White House. He was the one who said we should have a deal in 2 to 3 days. That was his words, which he's told us 2 to 3 days for the last 3 months that we were going to have a deal. Iran was the one who came out and said, our deals are stalled, we're done talking. And Trump kept saying, no, because he's manipulating the market. Trump was the one who said that. Not even 48 hours ago. That a deal was going to be done in 2 to 3 days. And now they've taken too long to negotiate a deal. Okay, sure. That's interesting. So how about this one? This one's probably my favorite right now. The fake news media refuses to report how effective the U.S. naval blockade is, the most successful blockade in the history of naval warfare, except it's a blockade of a blockade. So they blockaded it first, and then you just said, but na, and they're like, yeah, we already did it. It's fine, dude. Naval blockade is the most successful naval warfare, excuse me. Nothing gets through unless we want it to. Well, where are those 22 ships that you just claimed this morning, Trump? Where are those? It is a steel wall. Iran is doing zero business, not paying their military. I guess they're not paying the military that doesn't exist because we obliterated their military, but he's not paying them. But you don't have to pay them if you obliterated them. But if they're not paying them, it means it still exists. Where's that meme of the lady with the calculations in front of her face? We need that right there. Not paying their military or any of their bills and quickly becoming a failed nation. Lots of oil is getting out. Is it? Here's my favorite. You guys like this one? He did it again. He did it again. It's not Easter this time. The last time he did it was Easter, but praise be to Allah. If I'm so dumb, why can't you guys call the number and have a conversation with me based off of factually based evidence and not your feelings? It is 509-795-0412. You can call in and have a conversation. Again, not based off of your feelings. I'm going to ask you to prove the things that you said. I don't want to hear, you really don't think? No, I really don't think. I care about what you can prove. So, you can call me dumb all you want. I want proof and not your feelings. You guys have a lot of feelings, like Donald Trump has a lot of feelings. So, don't know what that's about. Yeah, Sissy B, we showed it. It's wild. Are you trying?
The best part about being a failed nation is it takes like a year and a half to the hottest world. We were there. They can do it. I believe in Iran.
Where'd you run to? Your noise is staggering. What my husband was attempting to say, but he was reporting from Nam. was the fact that if Donald Trump is claiming they are a failed nation, they only need about a year and a half to get better, because Donald Trump claimed that in 2024 we were a failed nation, and here we are, and apparently we are doing so well with gas prices skyrocketing, 4.2% inflation, mortgage defaults increasing. We love that for us. We love that. Love that for us. Yeah, from Rocky's home field to Nam in under 24 hours. He teleports, I think. All right, so we're going to get some interesting perspectives now. I'm going to have at least 3 Fox News clips for you, because the Fox News hosts are now finally kind of pushing back and questioning this constant conversation about a deal is almost done. We're gonna have a deal. A deal is almost done. Our grim inflation was never 11%. It was 9% in June of 2022, and that was the highest that it got during COVID or post-COVID because of supply chain issues and the pandemic, and then it started going back down immediately after that. It was 3.0 when Joe Biden left office and Donald Trump was inaugurated. I just showed that chart. Do I need to show it again? Because I can. Here, let's go back up to economy. Let's show our grim the chart. Okay, based off of BLS data, here's 2025. Here's 3.0 when Joe Biden left office. If you don't want to do January 2025 because it's both, that's fine. We can do December of 2024 was 2.9. The highest it was 9.1. 11% and 12% inflation was actually in the UK during that same period of time. But that was the highest it got, 2022, June of 2022, 9.1% under Joe Biden. But again, not because of what Joe Biden did, but because of supply chain issues and post-pandemic. And then we started just going down, steadily going back down. So we're up to 4.2% now, though, you know.
What about Biden?
Okay. Fox News host pushing back. Let's get to that.
Peace deal. But the problem here is the Iranians get a vote, and they are voting to continue to be aggressive against us. They've attacked the Israelis. They attacked the airport in Kuwait City. This is not a message from the regime that says we're ready for diplomacy and for peace to break out in the region. Unfortunately, we have to deal with the adversary as it exists.
This is kind of why Clinton and Obama on those, they weren't going to go into Iran. I mean, it's a very difficult calculus.
I'm sorry, what was that, Laura? What was that? Because remember, Donald Trump says that they were weak. All of you guys keep repeating his talking point of 47 years and Donald Trump was finally the bravest one to do it, which I guess you're not factoring in the 4 years of Donald Trump's first presidency. I almost said pregnancy. First presidency where he did nothing. But, you know, everybody says Clinton and Obama should have done this. What was that, Laura?
Message from the regime that says we're ready for diplomacy and for peace to break out in the region. Unfortunately, we have to deal with the adversary as it exists.
This is kind of why Clinton and Obama on those, they weren't going to go into Iran. I mean,
This is kind of why Clinton and Obama, they weren't going to go into Iran. Why is that? Oh, could it be because Iran is resilient and it's not the same as other countries?
It's a very difficult calculus, isn't it? I mean, this is why these guys, we're going to put all their political chips on Iran. We're kind of seeing it play out.
Yeah, Iran is a very sophisticated adversary. We've destroyed their military, maybe not to zero, but they still have some cards to play.
Yeah, apparently not, because they're shooting down Apache helicopters.
And they're playing them, they have a weak hand, but they're playing the hand as aggressively as they know how. The advantage is we're the United States, we have dominance.
Guys, keep tapping that screen, please. We are almost to 100,000 likes. I know you guys can do it. Come on, keep going.
Just have to decide to use it.
They're used to suffering, right? They're used to a lot of suffering.
And the regime doesn't care if their people suffer.
No, they don't.
Exactly. And this is why they are resilient. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I am not commending them for that. Donald Trump doesn't give a fuck about the Americans suffering either. Remember, he said specifically, I don't think about the Americans' financial situation at all. But there's a lot more pushback because the people underneath him, we have a system where we can vote those motherfuckers out. And it's not going well for them, is it? In Iran, because it is a oppressive regime, they themselves will cause their people to suffer and don't care. So then when another country comes in and causes their people to suffer, they don't care. And so they are proud. They are like these are Donald Trump's words, by the way, that they're proud and they're strong. They are resilient and they do not care how much their people suffer, and they will keep holding the line. And we are losing. We are losing in a war we did not need to start, a war that Netanyahu got us into and Donald Trump was dumb enough to do.
Don't care at all. And some are saying we don't know if it was Iran who shot down our Apache. Some senators are apparently speculating about that. Do you have any indication that it would be anyone other than Iran?
CENTCOM says it was Iran. I don't have any reason to doubt him.
Okay.
Now, that is because there is rumors, and I will call them rumors and conspiracy until we learn otherwise. Not that I don't put it past them. But there is rumors floating around that because Donald Trump was touting this idea of a deal being done within the next 2 to 3 days, I never got to it, but there is a video of Netanyahu specifically saying that we will not do this. We are not going to be a part of a deal, and whatever the U.S. does is on them, but that we are going to continue fighting. That is from Netanyahu and his foreign minister, Ben-Gvir, saying that. There are rumors that because they might have been close to a deal because Donald Trump desperately wants to walk out of this and get out of this because he realized he fucked up, that Israel might have done this. Now, there was supposed reporting that Iran has come and claimed the Apache helicopter. I haven't seen it yet. If you guys have it, that's great. But there is rumors, again, rumor and speculation. I'm not saying this is fact. There's just rumor and speculation that it might have been Israel that did it to continue the war. So that's just reporting that we're getting. Not anything that's necessarily true. But when you start to have Jesse Waters question you, you should wonder why. So this is Jesse Waters talking about the fact that Donald Trump has continually said, we are close to a deal, we are close to a deal, we are close to a deal, and yet doesn't seem like we are at all. W's to DF25. Thank you so much, DF25, for the $10. Says, love and admire you and Olive. Thank you so much for persevering through the BS respectfully. Thank you. We try. I try. You know, it's all we can do. So thank you to you. I appreciate it. Guys, that brings me down to 3-5. We are at 11 o'clock Mountain Time, the top of the hour. So guys, let's make sure that we are continuing to do the good things. We have an hour left to complete that goal. I absolutely know we can do it. Speaking of goals being met, W's to you guys in the TikTok chat for hitting 100,000 likes. Thank you guys so much. That means we can do it again. Let's do it again. We have one more hour. Let's try to get to 200,000 likes while we are sitting here. Thank you guys so much. DJ Bookie, I saw you said you had to wash your hands and that's why you weren't tapping. I'll allow it. Please wash your hands. Wash your ass too, men. Not you, DJ Bookie. I know you would because you would listen to me. Of course not. But just make sure you're washing your ass because a lot of you don't do that and it's weird. If you're watching over there on YouTube, if you haven't hit that thumbs up button for me, I would appreciate it if you would do so. And over there on Twitch, Phantom. Hi, Phantom. Thank you so much for resubscribing. I appreciate it. And you are making use of the emotes that I have over there on Twitch. Guys, don't forget that if you do pay for Prime, you get one free Prime sub a month that you can use. Why not use it on me? Make Jeff Bezos pay for your Prime sub. I would appreciate that. So thank you. So this is Jesse Waters talking about the fact that we keep hearing we're closer to a deal. Are we?
Puts even more pressure on him and gives us more leverage in those negotiations.
Yeah, the president indicated that he does not want to resume major combat operations. He said if we did do that, you'd have the...
Which, by the way, this was last night. That has now changed. When Donald Trump is speaking this morning, which I don't have clips from right now. I'll probably have clips tomorrow of Donald Trump talking about the fact that we are going to resume bombing. So this was before that.
Straight closed for another 2 to 3 to 4 months. And he doesn't want that. And he keeps saying we're very close. We're days away, and I don't know what that means. We've heard that for a very long time.
Right.
I mean,
we are close. I don't know what that means. We've heard that for a very long time. To hear that come out of Jesse Waters' mouth is a big deal.
For another 2 to 3 to 4 months, and he doesn't want that. And he keeps saying we're very close. We're days away, and I don't know what that means. We've heard that for a very long time.
Right.
I mean, oil has gone down. It was closed at, I think, 89 today, but gas prices are very high. And there's a lot of people in the administration, I think, that would like to see the job finished, and others think that, you know, we're pretty close. But what do we know?
That has never stopped us.
Yeah.
Too bad they demonized Tesla, Jesse.
By the way, I hate her. Her last name is Kennedy. She's an absolute fucking idiot. She's an idiot. I don't play a lot of clips from her because she's so dumb. She's so dumb.
We'll continue to watch.
Puts even more pressure
But
on him.
again, even Jesse Waters said, I don't know. So artist, I do still plan to look this weekend into the Iowa elections. The one thing I am starting to see is that the person running on the Republican primary ticket doesn't live there and says that if he wins, he will move there, which is a very interesting fucking thing. Like, the fuck's going on in Iowa? So I'm definitely going to look into that this weekend because, yeah, what the fuck, my guy? What? Yeah, I'll move there if I win. What? So yeah, I will definitely get to that for midterm Monday next week. You guys haven't had your primaries, have you? Let's see. Iowa state primary. When is your primary date? Oh, you guys did. Did you guys have your primaries already? And he's the one running? Oh my God. Yeah, you guys did. You had your primaries. No, but I'll still talk about it. I don't care. I'll talk about it on midterm Monday because it's still election stuff. That's wild. And he's using a private jet to fly back and forth. And if he wins the general election, he's going to move to Iowa. The Trump-endorsed candidate lost. We love that for them. We love that, Casey. All right, so this is Perino. This one's a really short one, but this is Perino from Fox News again saying, after Donald Trump retaliated against what happened with the Apache helicopter, if he starts to tell us a deal is coming, it's going to be harder to believe.
And we'll see what the night brings. But if tomorrow we hear we're closer and we're almost to a deal, I think it'll be a little hard to take.
Does this set us back?
Even Fox News is getting to a point like we are tired of reporting that Donald Trump keeps saying we're close to a deal when we're not close to a deal. What are we supposed to do with that? Well, I guess this is what we're supposed to do with it. According to MAGA and Representative Tenney, being asked about the fact that Americans are fucking sick of this shit. We're sick of this war. We're done with it. What do we do about that? Well, she says, it's fine.
What do you say to the Americans out there? They're sick and
I know, Newshound, I played it. Mia told me, and I played it immediately. What the fuck?
tired of this war. They voted for President Trump because he promised to end wars, not start wars. He called himself the president of peace. What is your message to those people experiencing this war fatigue?
So Joseph, you said, wait, but Trump definitely released the Epstein files, didn't he? They did not release all of them. There's another 3 million files that Acting Attorney General Todd Blanchard says they're not releasing because they are duplicative, so supposedly copies, or that they are not relevant to Epstein. But I would like us to be the determiners of that, and they don't get to be the determiners of that because the law says so. But no, he was like, his DOJ released them, but they were forced to, right? So I've talked about this. I actually have a video, Joseph, if you have the time, not right now, but maybe later. And this is not to be self-promoting. It's just the easiest way for me to explain it. I have a video on my YouTube. I have it on TikTok as well. And it's going to show a screen that says Epstein Files Transparency Act on it. And it explains thoroughly why the DOJ released what they did and why they were forced to. Donald Trump has been fighting this from the beginning to release these files, and Mike Johnson helped him. Mike Johnson kept putting Congress on break to ensure that they could not get the 218 signatures that they needed to force a vote onto the floor. Because the Epstein Transparency Act went through committee, and then the next step is for Mike Johnson to bring it onto the floor for a vote. He refused to do so. So they had to circumvent him, which is when Congress goes through and they get 218 signatures from representatives, a majority. And they then, please, artist, I would love it if you join my Discord. And then that forces a vote onto the floor. Mike Johnson was avoiding that at all costs because Donald Trump didn't want it. That's where he broke ties with Marjorie Taylor Greene. It's where he broke ties with Lauren Boebert. It's where he broke ties with Nancy Mace, who, by the way, another woman coming in 5th place. She came in 5th place for her governorship in her primary and had to concede. damn, it sucks when you glaze taint and don't get anything out of it, right? Yeah, that sucks. But yeah, if you want to watch that video, Joseph, it's going to be, I literally go through a frame-by-frame timeline of how that happened.
End wars, not start wars. He called himself the president of peace. What is your message to those people experiencing this war fatigue?
Yeah, well, it's not been very long. We were in Iraq and Afghanistan for over 20 years under.
What's the time frame? Like, what time frame are we giving this? Like, I do not understand this new pretzel of like, well, it's not a forever war like Afghanistan was. Afghanistan obviously wasn't a forever war either because it was 20 years. It had an end date, but he promised no new wars. He promised peace. He promised to keep us out of the Middle East. I rhymed. And yet, here we are in a war that we didn't need to be in. So to sit here and say, well, it hasn't been that long. Look at Afghanistan. I don't want to compare that. I just don't want to be in war. How about that? I would rather have those 14 service members alive again. I would rather have not double tapped a school full of school children. I would rather not done that. Okay, sure.
And Afghanistan for over 20 years under a couple of different presidents. So this is a very short-term conflict. And this is all about lasting peace. It's not a forever war. President Trump is trying to rid us of a terrorist regime that has been wreaking havoc on our own military, threatening to have a nuclear weapon, which they were just about close to having a weapons-grade nuclear weapon. This is a regime we've been fighting for 47 years. They have no problem killing their own people in the streets, gouging out the eyes of women or anyone who stands up to.
We kill people in our own streets. So, yeah, Afghanistan started at 20 years. There was never a day one.
The regime. It's time for them to go, and it's time to have peace and prosperity.
What do you say to the Americans out?
Sure, but we said we weren't going to be the world police either. I'm a fool. Viking, how am I a fool? Can you tell me? No, because none of you have called in today because you don't have factual information, which I have openly said I'm going to ask you for. You want to talk about your feelings, baby. I'm not here for that. I don't get paid enough for that. But if you would like to talk with factually based information, we can absolutely do that. So this was Fox News this morning, where now Trump has said it himself in the Oval Office. He said it himself, we are going to resume bombing. But this was the reporting Fox News was getting from Donald Trump that war is back on.
Now, interestingly, President Trump told me that he is getting close to ordering new strikes against Iranian power plants and bridges because he says the Iranians are tapping the United States along when it comes to the negotiating process. He says the bully of the Middle East is dead. And he told me I may keep going when I asked him about a possible response to the Iranian missile fire that...
Well, Viking, you're assuming that I would like to be a journalist. I'm not. I'm a political commentator. I'm not a journalist. Those are two different things. I'm a political commentator. That's what I do. And it's fine.
Targeted U.S. forces in Kuwait, Bahrain, and Jordan overnight. The president said...
Yeah, I'm not a Trump supporter. Are you okay, Viking? Viking just yelled, "Fuck MAGA, you fool." I'm not a Trump supporter. What? You okay?
Said they had a chance to sign a deal and survive, indicating again that he may order new strikes against the Iranian regime in response to their dragging their feet at the negotiating table.
I'm bringing my information right here. I am bringing my information. Oh, me 357. What have I said that's not factual? Can you give me something? Literally all I do for most of the day, I'm a political commentator. So I literally commentate on the shit that they say. I just don't believe the shit that they say. So this, J.D. Vance did an interview on Sunday morning talking about the deal. Now, J.D. Vance was a little bit more realistic about how long, again, this was before the strikes after the Apache helicopter, but this was a little bit more honest about how long a deal could take. I actually agree with him that it could take up to months, which is what he says in this interview. So he's being a little bit more honest.
You say very close. How soon? Could the deal happen before the midterm elections?
Oh, absolutely. No, I think we're going to know a lot before the midterm elections. Look, I think that the deal could happen in the next week, but the deal could also happen months from now.
You say very.
The deal could also happen months from now. Yeah, that's probably accurate. Well, I mean, we could have just not gone to war at all. We could have just not tore up the JCPOA, and then we would have been renegotiating a deal in December of 2025. We could have just done that. But, sure, whatever. This is Josh Rogin. He is a intelligence analyst at Washington Post, and he's responding to J.D. Vance's comment about months.
Trump's message is, don't believe your eyes. Everything's fine. We're very close. That's obviously not true. And what Vance offered is a slightly more honest picture, which is that this could take several months. The problem is that Vance doesn't seem to think that's a bad thing. He doesn't seem to realize that Americans are suffering, our allies are getting bombed, our alliances are getting weakened, and the war is dragging our economy into an abyss. And just to say it could take a couple of days or a week or several months is a completely unacceptable answer to the American people after they entered a war with no justification, no legal explanation, and no strategy and no realistic plan for getting us out of this thing.
That's the problem. How much are you willing to keep allowing Americans to suffer while we wait? For you to figure out something that you could have figured out in December of 2025, not under a tumultuous scenario, you could have still just had the JCPOA. Secretariat, you said, anyone fear that Trump's going to try to stay president if elections vote him out, for example, January 6th? I actually worry about it for the midterms, to be honest with you. Not even jumping to 2028. My concern is what they're going to do when they get slaughtered in November. I guess we'll see. Because they're gonna. It's not gonna go well for them. Again, I'm not saying we're going to win the Senate, but the House for sure. And they're going to be very, very mad. And it's going to be a fucking problem. All right. 11:15, guys. Make sure we're still doing the good things. 11:15, we should be well on our way to 125,000 likes. So let's make sure we are still tapping, please. I would appreciate it to keep doing all of those wonderful things. If you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button for me. I would appreciate it. Voss, you said CNN is liberal Zionist media. That's interesting because they keep... liberal Zionist media. I would say they're pretty conservative, actually. The amount of times that they have these damn idiots. They had Hal Lambert on the other day, who was an absolute idiot. You have Scott Jennings, who is just a taint glazer. Like, I don't know what you're talking about, but sure. But anyway, do all the good things, guys. 35 left in my goal. We can dollar train or $2 train that out. I know that you guys can. So if you haven't gotten your Antifa dues in, let's make sure that we are. Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, all in the link trees in my bio. Tip your content creator for doing what we do. Because apparently I am a wannabe journalist, political activist, leftist grifter. So I guess let's just prove the point. Sure. Let's do that. All right. We're going to move on to a phrased. Woo! I stayed up late. Like, listen, we went to the Rockies game with the kids. It was fucking fantastic and fun. We had so much fun. But we had to ride the train back home. And that was at like, what was that? Like 10 o'clock, I think. I don't know. And I'm tired. I didn't go to bed until like 1 a.m. Okay. Fraud, waste, and abuse section. So we are going to, first I wanted to play this. This is a U.S. attorney, one of the U.S.'s attorneys talking to Sorkin about fraud, right? Like these people are tasked with fraud. This one is particularly in the voting section. I'm going to be very careful of my words today. And, remember, Donald Trump is saying it's there. Mike Johnson is saying it's there. We went through an entire segment yesterday. I'm sorry, TikTok, about that, but YouTube and Twitch, when you guys switched over there, we went through an entire segment. If you missed it, it was great. You should rewatch it from yesterday, talking about their claims about elections, and specifically 2020 and specifically California. And this U.S. attorney is being asked about the fact that they're just claiming it's there without evidence. What is your take on that?
Hey, Jay, here's the piece of this that I don't understand. There may be fraud, there may not be fraud in our election system to some degree, one way or the other. I think, as Becky pointed out.
Zandian, who was president in 2008? You said who was president in 2008 and prior? What real regulations were passed to prevent what happened in 2008 to ever happen again? Wasn't Trump. No, of course it wasn't Trump. Who was president in 2008?
Obviously, the law is the law in California. We could have a big debate about whether to change the law. But do you think that it helps, given where you sit in the world, to speculate about fraud or potential fraud without any direct evidence of said fraud? Because typically, if you were to bring a case,
I asked who was president in 2008, not the person who wrote this. It wasn't Zandian. But Ultra MAGA Patriot 1776 said, what did he say? What do we think he said? Who's president?
Obama.
No. Try again.
Historically, wouldn't want to speculate about the case.
I am not speculating about fraud. I'm not saying there is fraud. Okay.
Okay. So this U.S. attorney is not saying there is fraud, unlike the president.
Okay. I am saying that the opportunity for fraud makes no sense to me. When we can run a
What opportunity for fraud?
much better system.
I only say that because the president over the weekend very open.
Oh, Zandian, are you an anti-Semite? You can go.
Openly didn't just speculate that there was fraud. He said directly that there was fraud.
Let me also say this, Andrew. There are a lot of people who look at this and say there is no fraud. Okay? I don't think that they're right either.
I would like you guys to name me, because I keep hearing this too. Can you guys name me one Democratic politician? Name me one Democratic political commentator or journalist who has claimed that there is no fraud. I would like you to name them for me, because then what I would tell you is that I would admonish them and critique them for saying that. But I haven't been able to find one. What they have said is the fraud is not being committed at a scale that is affecting the outcome of these elections. Right? Okay. That's what I thought.
When you have a situation where you don't have voter ID, where there's no voter ID in New York. One of the most ironic things in the last 6 months of my life is I go in to vote. Last November, I go into my local school. And you know what it says above the door in the local school? Must have ID to enter. Must have ID to enter the school.
Yeah, because it's a school. And again, if you want voter ID, fine. Make the documents that you need to get it free, or else it is a poll tax and it is unconstitutional, and I refuse. We know it's a safe system. Why? Because they verify signatures. By the way, there was actually a tweet. I didn't get a chance to show this, but I think Political Mom did a video on it. If you guys follow Political Mom here on TikTok, fucking fantastic. She just did a video on this. Somebody tweeted about a piece of paper that they got, saying that their ballot was, and I think it was a Republican, but saying that their ballot was initially rejected because the signature verification on their ballot did not match the records they have for the DMV, where you registered, right? But what the paper said is, we are giving you a chance to fix this, rewrite your signature, or to come into the office so that we can verify that it's you. And then your vote will count. They tweeted that piece of paper saying, see, this is them trying to cheat. What? That's the system working. That happened to you too, Sparky? That's the system working. That is them verifying that it was you that voted.
They're grasping so hard on straws, and it just doesn't fail. Like, it's not even the fact of, like, we're trying to find fraud. Like, that's all you're doing. You're actively trying to find fraud, and whatever you think looks like fraud is fraud.
Well, yeah, they're coming to the guilty conclusion without the evidence, and they're trying to find the evidence for the conclusion. We call that confirmation bias.
I also call that living in delusion, because you got, like, grown-ass adults are doing this.
Alex, give me proof of that. Alex said they literally use the same voting machines they used to admittedly rig the elections in Cuba. Prove that to me, please. I would like proof of that.
What? Someone was arguing with Manny about how India does their elections. They first confused India for Brazil.
It's because
More electronic.
Who said it? Who said it?
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk said it, but somebody repeated it recently. Was it Mike Johnson? I think it might have been Mike Johnson. Repeated it and said that, yeah, it was Mike Johnson. Said that India counts it in 24 hours, and that's not true. You can fact check that. India does not do that. What India does is actually they have multiple elections on multiple days, and they count the same, like their system of counting is the same in all their like districts, but their election days are different. So they started in like April and didn't end voting until June. That's how it works.
It's
So again, they're lying to you again, and you guys just believe them because you want to. Alex, I am waiting for the proof of what you claimed. You claimed that it's the same systems used in Cuba. Prove that. And then you said the elections need transparency. They have transparency because they can be audited and are audited. And reform? Sure. No, you're not going to get rid of mail-in votes because what reason do you have to get rid of mail-in votes? Nothing. No machines. Oh, you want to go back to hanging chads. Did that work out too well for Gore and Bush? Or no? No 2,000 mules. Do you know, Alex? Do you know that the guy who made 2,000 Mules came out and said, I made that shit up? You know that? Okay.
Last November, I go into my local school, and you know what it says above the door in the local school? Must have ID to enter. Must have ID to enter the school, but the person in front of me pulled out their ID, and the poll worker said, I don't need that. Just sign up. I'm like, it was almost Kafkaesque. Like, we're all worried about the integrity of our voting system. Let's all agree that it can be improved dramatically.
Right. Are you probably...
Absolutely.
Sure, it could be improved, but we're not going to sit here and pretend that there's fraud that exists that doesn't. That's the problem that you guys have here. You guys create things in your head. By the way, just in case you think I'm fucking lying, here you go. Publisher, this was May 31st of 2024. Publisher of 2,000 Mules election conspiracy theory film issues apology. The conservative media company behind the book and film 2,000 Mules, which alleged a widespread conspiracy by Democrats to the 2020 election and was embraced by former President Donald Trump, has issued an apology and said it would halt distribution of the film and remove both the film and book from its platform. In a statement posted to their website, Salem Media Group, Inc. apologizes specifically to Mark Andrews, a voter from Georgia falsely depicted illegally voting in 2,000 Mules. The Georgia Bureau of Investigation cleared Andrews of wrongdoing and found, he was legally dropping off ballots for members of his family. Andrews filed a defamation lawsuit against Salem, as well as the team behind the movie, right-wing commentator Dinesh D'Souza, and the group True the Vote. Though 2,000 Mules has been widely debunked by law enforcement officials and the media, including NPR, the film and book developed a widespread following among supporters of the false claim that 2020 was... Yeah, and what did Fox News have to pay to Dominion? What did Fox News have to pay to Dominion? Because you don't have any proof of that. Alex, you have no proof of that. 62 plus court cases 6 years later, and here we are, still lying about things you can't prove. All right, we are going to move on here. Where do I want to start? I'm going to start. Congress had the interim CEO, so again, that's be like acting, the interim CEO of SPLC in front of Congress yesterday. Now, this is a show. This is theater. This is a performance. Okay? Alex, prove to me that dead people voted in a substantial amount that caused the election to turn the way it did. Prove that. Prove it. You guys can't prove it. You have nothing. Okay. This is a theater show. This is a performance by Republicans and Jim Jordan specifically to try to make the SPLC look bad for not answering questions. Now, the SPLC has an indictment. The SPLC is going to court. That is pending litigation, meaning they should not speak about the case or anything related to the case to anyone. They should wait until they are in court, which is what Brian Fair, the interim CEO of the SPLC, does. Jim Jordan and the Republicans all over Twitter are trying to tout this as some sort of win, as some sort of exposure. Again, proving the fucking point that when you guys don't have evidence, you think the lack of evidence is evidence. You guys are doing the Nick Shirley. You ask a question, when somebody refuses to answer it, you say, proves my point. It doesn't. He is doing exactly what he is supposed to do and advised by his lawyers to do as a company pending litigation, which is to shut the fuck up. So again, this is a performance to try to make Republicans look good, to do the Nick Shirley thing that you guys all love, which is like, see, he didn't answer, he must be guilty, instead of actually waiting for the case. Again, you have not read the indictment. I know you haven't read the indictment. I know you don't know how long the indictment is. I have it linked here again. I've had it linked several times in my live outline in my Discord because we read it. We read all 14 pages. But let's talk about it. So this is interim CEO Brian Fair and his opening statement. I'm going to let him do his opening statement, and then we'll continue.
Last July, I took on a one-year leave from teaching to become...
But guys, while we were sitting here, please make sure we're doing the good things. We're at 122,000 likes. We should already be at 125,000. I know you guys can hit that 100,000 mark or a 200,000 mark before we end today, so make sure you're doing that over there on YouTube. Hit that thumbs up. Guys, 3-5 left on my goal as we go through this today. Let's start working on that and getting that down. I know we can complete it. There's only 35 left. Dollar Train, $2 Train. There's enough of you in here to get it done.
I'm the interim head of the Southern Poverty Law Center. So my testimony today will be one of my last official acts in this role. It has been one of the greatest honors of my life to work alongside the talented, dedicated, and principled SPLC staff. For 55 years, with the support of generous donors who appreciate our work, the SPLC has fought racial terror, white supremacy, and other forms of discrimination and hate, seeking to build and defend a multiracial democracy where we can all live and thrive. That was the goal of the Civil Rights Movement, and it is our mission. We are known for exposing and dismantling extremist hate groups. We took on the United Klans of America, whose hateful violence killed 4 little girls in the 16th Street Baptist Church bombing, and we sued them out of existence. In the decades since, hate has continued, but so have our efforts to expose it through litigation, policy, research, and education. We fight for the underdog, the poor, the unhoused, the hungry, the incarcerated, the disenfranchised, the immigrants, the outcast, the vilified. Many groups, and some in this room, have misrepresented our work, including our confidential informant program, repeating various false allegations. Some say we've lost our way. That's false. We've never lost our North Star, a fair and just society for every person. All our programs advance that mission.
The wind is blowing. I don't worship political gods either. I wouldn't call them gods. That's gross. They're employees. They work for us.
Our work saves lives, but it comes at a price. Since our earliest days, we've been targeted by those who oppose our mission. Our office was firebombed, our staff threatened, our leaders the target of assassination. We know political violence. We unequivocally condemn it. However, despite the danger, we will not stop exposing hate.
Okay, so before we get into Jim Jordan's heated exchange with Brian Fair, where he's trying to get Brian Fair to talk about things he can't talk about, I'm going to ask conservatives, Republicans, MAGA, what is the indictment for against the SPLC? What are they being charged with? Can you tell me? I'll wait. I know there's a delay. What is their alleged crimes from the SPLC? Oh, wait. While we do that, or just say you don't know, which is totally fine. Okay, since none of you know, they are being accused of defrauding their donors, people who donated to their nonprofit. They are being accused of defrauding their donors and paying for hate groups, paying into hate groups. When really what the SPLC's claim is that they were paying informants to infiltrate those hate groups, which is on their website. If you go to donate, that they infiltrate hate groups and try to break them down and have them reported to the DOJ, which they do. By the way, Todd Blanche had to come back and say that. Todd Blanche originally came out and said the SPLC never told us about these informants. And they had to come back out and go, yeah, no, they did. They did tell us about these informants. The court case is going to be very interesting, which is why, again, this theater performance we are going to watch with Todd Blanche, or not Todd Blanche, excuse me, this theater performance we are going to watch with Jim Jordan is going to happen because they're trying to litigate it publicly for the headline, for the tweet, so that you guys can repost Jim Jordan, so you can repost Brandon Gill and think that you got something because he refused to answer because he's waiting on the court case. And what's going to happen is the same thing that keeps happening to this administration, is the court case is going to go nowhere, it's going to get dismissed, it's going to get dropped, and you will never hear about that. Ever. Except for here, when we report on it. And all you'll remember is this moment where he does not answer because he is in litigation with the Trump administration. But let's get into it.
Mr. Fair, did the Southern Poverty Law Center use donor money to have field sources attend extremist rallies across the country?
Mr. Chairman.
It's a simple question. Did you use your donor money for that purpose?
We used donor money.
So yes or no?
Paid confidential informants to infiltrate extremist organizations.
Did the Southern Poverty Law Center use donor dollars to have field sources host extremist rallies throughout the country?
Not to my knowledge.
To host extremist rallies across the country. Mr. Fair says, not to my knowledge.
That's not what the indictment says. Did the Southern Poverty Law...
That's actually, I don't know what he's talking about. No. Again, 14 pages that you guys don't know because you didn't read it. To host extremist rallies? Well, we'll get into it because there's one that he says that's like my favorite because that's not what the indictment says at all.
Law Center used donor dollars to have field sources grow existing chapters of extremist groups.
Mr. Chairman, as I said earlier...
It's a simple question, Mr. Fair.
But again, he cannot answer. They are pending litigation. These are questions that will happen in court. So he should not answer because they're in litigation right now.
Did you use donor money for the purpose I just read? I'm reading straight from the superseding indictment.
And Mr. Chairman, the indictment will be managed and responded to by counsel in the criminal case that's
Well, you
pending.
just answered the question.
Exactly. It will be answered in the criminal case that is pending. Why would I tell you? And possibly incriminate myself or my company.
From Mr. Raskin concerning the indictment, he asked you, did field sources send information to the FBI that help with things? You answered that question.
That's a matter of public knowledge.
That's in our public filing.
Again, yeah, he answered Raskin because that's public. Yes, they did inform the DOJ about their informants that they were paying.
Did the Southern Poverty Law Center use donor money to have field sources create new chapters of extremist groups?
Again, Mr. Chairman.
Did the Southern Poverty Law Center use donor money to recruit new individuals into those extremist groups?
I assume you don't want me to answer since you're not giving me time to answer.
No, I'm giving you time to answer because that's a yes or did you use your donors' money for that purpose? Yes or no?
Again, those issues will be resolved in the pending allegations against the SPLC.
It seems to me if the answer is no, you could say no.
He's in pending litigation. He shouldn't say anything.
We have asserted that the allegations are false.
Jay Bunke, you said, why is Congress litigating this prior to the trial? Doesn't that corrupt the jury pool? Exactly. Exactly. So that it goes viral on Twitter and TikTok. I literally, because one of the videos that I saved, I didn't realize was like a right-leaning account. I just wanted the video, right? I didn't want their attachment of their writing above it. I just wanted the video that they had. Didn't realize they were right-leaning. Because I liked it and I reposted it and then I used it and copied it to my Google source, what happened is I started getting all the other ones, right? So all I was getting was Brandon Gill, Jim Jordan, Red Wave 911, Red Breaking News. I was getting all of theirs where they're sitting there and saying, Jim Jordan ripped him a new one. Jim Jordan got him. Brandon Gill got him. Exposing the SPLC. That's what they wanted, Jay Bunkie. You're exactly right. That's what they wanted. Because now they're litigating this in public and saying because he didn't answer, the lack of answer is the answer, which is what all MAGA does with everything. You're not giving me any evidence. That's evidence in and of itself. I believe you. Instead of actually reading the indictment and actually getting into the actual details of the case. Of course he's not going to answer. There's a criminal case ongoing.
Did the Southern Poverty Law Center use donor money to have field sources make donations to extremist group leaders and purchase materials for cross burnings? It's alleged in the indictment. Did it happen?
We've alleged that those allegations are false.
That's the one I'm talking about. I want you to hear that one again.
Will be resolved in the pending allegations against the SPLC.
It seems to me if the answer is no, you could say no.
We have asserted that the allegations are false.
Did the Southern Poverty Law Center use donor money to have field sources make donations to extremist group leaders and purchase materials for cross burnings?
Did you pay informants to purposefully buy materials for cross burning?
It's alleged in the indictment. Did it happen?
That's alleged in the indictment. Is it? Okay, Jim. All right, Jim. Let's go. Ready? 14 pages of indictment, Jim Jordan. Let's do my favorite thing, Control F. Cross. Cross shows up 4 times because you have confronting hate across the country. That's not what we want, right? He said that SPLC paid for them to get materials for cross burning. That the SPLC paid for that. And that is asserted in the indictment. Well, this is the indictment, okay? Justice.gov. This is the indictment. United States of America versus Southern Poverty Law Center. So across, no, that's not what we wanted. We want cross burning. Schools across America, no, that's not what we want. Communities across the country, nope, that's not what we want. Okay, so there's one more. 4 out of 4. This is the last cross. F43, which is how they named the informants that they're accusing, okay? F43 was the reported national president of American Front and convicted federal felon for his participation in a cross burning. Between 2016 and 2019, the SPLC secretly paid F43 more than $19,000. Oh, but Jim Jordan, you told me that the indictment said that they were paid to cross burn. You said that the SPLC used donor money to pay for them to purchase materials to burn crosses. That's what you said, Jim Jordan. That's not what the indictment alleges. You lied about that, and nobody in MAGA will look it up. Nobody in MAGA will look it up. This person was a convicted felon for his participation in a cross burning. That in and of itself does not prove that the SPLC paid him for that purpose. And you can't prove that to me. They can try to. The United States government can try to in court. Jim Jordan just lied to you. And you let him.
The SPLC.
It seems to me if the answer is no, you could say no.
We have asserted that the allegations are false.
Did the Southern Poverty Law Center use donor money to have field sources make donations to extremist group leaders and purchase materials for cross burnings? It's alleged in the indictment. Did it happen?
We've alleged that those allegations are false.
Did Southern Poverty Law Center use donor dollars to have field sources create racist paraphernalia that extremist groups sold at rallies?
We've alleged that those...
No, he didn't. He was paid, period. Yeah, but not paid for what Jim Jordan just said, right? I just showed you it again. Not paid for what Jim Jordan just said.
Those allegations are false.
Okay, how about this? What is Fox Photography?
And by the way, Schmazer Beams, yeah, they paid an informant. We do that too. With our tax money, we pay informants. Did you know that?
Mr. Chairman, what I've learned about Fox photography, I've learned from counsel in conversations with counsel.
How about Northwest Technologies?
And they're covered by the attorney-client privilege.
No, I'm not. These are. Well, did the Southern Poverty Law Center establish shell companies to pay to run the money through to then pay the field sources?
Again, all of the allegations that you are referring to, Chairman Jordan, will be
Well, how about this?
responded to by our counsel.
Again, he is saying that they will respond to this in the indictment. You said, yeah, but it's vague. Jim is reaching, obviously, but he was paid and he did the cross-burning. So here's the thing, Schmazer Beams, that's fair. If even the portion of the indictment that we read, very vague, which I think is a problem with the U.S. government's indictment. I think that in and of itself shows the U.S. government is reaching in what they're trying to accuse the SPLC of. But I agree with you. That is vague. Because of the time frame with which they are claiming he was paid, it could have been, he could have, and again, we don't know the name of this person, right? So I agree with you. In the vagaries of the fact that we don't know the name of this specific person, between 2016 and 2019 is a long period of time. He could have got paid during that time and did a cross-burning. Now, but again, it is still going to be on the U.S. government to prove that he was paid to do that versus he was a paid informant. Informants usually, they're not undercover agents, okay? So this man was already a part of a hate group, and then the SPLC just reached out to him and said, hey, we already know you're a part of this hate group, but like, we'll pay you this money if you'll infiltrate and give us information. And so like, he could have just been a hateful fucking person who did a cross-burning, but was also getting paid by the SPLC to be an informant. So it is going to be on them. My issue is with Jim Jordan litigating this in public when they have a set court date, and I see you, totally fine. That fair assessment. It's hard to get, tone through text. So thank you, Schmazer Beams, for that. But my issue is with Jim Jordan litigating this in public when they have a set court case. We are going to watch that go through, and just trying to say that Brian Farrer is being shady by not answering when he has pending litigation, and by asserting that the indictment alleged this man was paid to purchase materials to cross-burn, because it's not said in the indictment at all. At least be honest about what the indictment said. So.
In the Middle District of Alabama.
Did you pay the field sources directly, or did you pay them through an intermediary?
Mr. Chairman Jordan.
Now, again, he's not going to answer these questions because this is also a part of the indictment. Not only does the indictment, the 14-page indictment, list informants that they supposedly paid, it also lists companies, what they're calling shell companies, that they paid them through, right? So what, and we've talked about this. So, and I wouldn't be surprised. This is not a crime, however, so it's going to be interesting how they do that in court. They're trying to portray it as a crime, but what would have happened then, I need a whiteboard like Katie Porter, is that the SPLC has their bank that the SPLC does their money through, right? And then they create this shell company. They created ones named with like bookstores or ice cream shops or whatever, right? And then, oh, hold on, gotta do my puzzle piece. Guys, that means you're not tapping enough. We're not being engaging enough. Do the thing. So, SPLC Bank, shell company, okay? The thing is, when they set up the shell company, they still set it up letting the banks know, hey, this is us. You had to register it, and they did. And then they put the donor money that they use from their fund to infiltrate these hate groups and put it in the shell company, okay? And then from there, they use that to pay the informant. Now, why did they do that? Oh, probably so that in case they get caught by their group, it looks like they got paid by a bookstore for something or an ice cream shop for a quick shift or something, instead of from the SPLC, who is known to infiltrate and take down these groups. I'm struggling to see the crime there, but sure. But again, Brian Farrer is not going to answer this because there's pending criminal litigation.
Yep.
Our counsel will respond to all the allegations in the indictment in the case pending in the Middle District.
Well, there's all these companies that you sent money to. Center Investigative Agency, not the CIA, but your CIA. Fox Photography, Northwest Technologies, Tech Writers Group, Rare Books Warehouses.
That's the one.
Imagery Link, J&J Electronics, and Kelly's Marine. And I'm just want to know if that was the intermediate shell companies that you guys set up to pay the field sources. Is that true?
Will the good chairman yield for just
No,
a moment?
I got just a minute and a half, and then I'll be happy to entertain a question you may
Chairman
have.
Jordan, counsel will respond to all the allegations.
Yeah, Jay Bunkie, I would assume that when informants from the FBI are getting paid, that the check doesn't say FBI on it. Like, that would be my assumption. Yeah, because that would be bad, right? You don't want that. That's a surefire way to get yourself whacked.
In the Middle District of Alabama.
Okay.
As the process allows.
Did you do it all for the money? I mean, you said now, I think the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Now, where a crime would actually be, which is now what Jim Jordan is trying to dig up, that's not in the indictment, but what you would have to try to prove, is what would be a crime. Okay, we're back. Back to the whiteboard, the yellow legal pad. SPLC Bank. If SPLC Bank has donations in it from the donors who donated on purpose to infiltrate these hate groups, and then they created this shell company, here's this books warehouse, right? And then they funneled that money in there, that donor money, into this shell company. And then instead of paying the informant, Brian Fair got that money from the shell company. That would be a crime. That's embezzlement. You can't do that. Where's the proof of that?
Said you're no longer going to use these field sources. You're going to stop the program, but you did it for multiple years, and according to the
So now SPLC is saying they are going to stop that program. They're not going to do it anymore. Brian Fair gives a legitimate reason to start, and then he gets a little petty at the end, but we'll talk about that. Guys, thank you for the tapping. I appreciate it. Let's keep going.
I think the Southern Poverty Law Center said you're no longer going to use these field sources. You're going to stop the program, but you did it for multiple years, and according to the indictment, it was $4 million that you shelled out to these various field sources to engage in all the activities I just read.
As
I'm
we
just
said
wondering, was
in
it
our-
all about the money?
As we said in our public statement, Chairman Jordan, we did it to protect our staff and to protect the public.
Did fundraising increase after paying people to stay in these groups who actually wanted out of them? Did your fundraising increase? Did the donations coming in increase?
Chairman Jordan, I'm not sure exactly what you're.
I don't see what one would have to do with the other. If these field, they call them field agents, they call them informants, whatever word you want to use for them. If these people decided that they wanted out of the program, I don't see where that correlates with them still getting donations. The donors wouldn't know that these people want out. I don't, and it doesn't mean that all the people want it out. So what are we talking about?
Referring to when you say.
How about this? After the crazy Charlottesville rally, did fundraising go up?
Now, this is what they're trying to do on the right, is they are trying to say that the SPLC helped fund and set up and organize the rally in Charlottesville. There was an informant who was at the rally in Charlottesville who was being paid by the SPLC during that time. But again, that is not proof that the SPLC set it up. It's okay, I got you. It's not proof that the SPLC set it up, which is what they are trying to claim now. It just so happens that an informant was at Charlottesville. Not that they organized it on behest of the SPLC. But it doesn't matter because now he's said it. It's on the internet. The right, who will refuse to read the 14-page indictment, who will refuse to look at the information in regards to the organization of the Unite the Right rally in Charlottesville, won't care. That's it. They've got the sound clip. It's done. They believe it at the end. No, it's not the accusation. The accusation is that was another informant they paid. That's in the indictment. Who ended up at Charlottesville. So this is muddying the waters on something that's not even in the criminal case. If you guys don't remember the Unite the Right rally, that is when a bunch of very mediocre, small penis, non-ass washed white men got together with tiki torches and decided that they were going to Sieg Heil a bunch of times and say that Jews will not replace us. If you don't remember. Who those people vote for, primarily, I wonder. Good people on both sides.
Mr. Chairman, our fundraising went up.
Fundraising where one of your field sources helped coordinate
Our
transportation. to that
fundraising
event.
went up.
So, where one of the field agents allegedly coordinated transportation to the rally. Again, I don't think Jim Jordan understands what informants are. Informants are not just regular people who are not part of a hate group who get paid to be part of a hate group. They are people already in hate groups. They are people part of the KKK, Patriot Front, Proud Boys, 3%ers. What are the other ones I'm missing? Any other white supremacist groups we're missing? Those hate groups already exist. They have members in the hate groups that already exist. The SPLC Oath Keepers, thank you, Neff. The SPLC simply reach Christians. It's crazy, Sam, but you're not wrong. The SPLC reaches out to members, existing members of these hate groups, and says, if you give us information on these hate groups, we will pay you. And they say, cool, sure. They are double agents because they both still believe in the hate group they are in, but they also they're not going to turn their nose down at money. So this man may have coordinated transportation to the Unite the Right rally, and he may have been getting paid to give information to the SPLC at that time. That does not mean that the SPLC coordinated that rally.
When President Donald Trump was elected in 2016.
Fundraising go up after you paid a field source to coordinate the transportation at an event in Charlottesville where a person was killed. That's what I'm asking. Did it go up? Because according to what we know, you went from 51 million to 133 million in 1 year.
So what he's trying to claim is that the SPLC helped organize the Unite the Right rally in this event so that they could get more donations from people who want to tear that down without any proof. But that's what he said. And MAGA will eat it up because that's what they want to believe. Again, KKK, Patriot Front, Oath Keepers, Proud Boys, 3%ers. Who did they vote for?
And that happened when
Exactly, Jay Bunkie. The truth is donations went up because Trump got elected.
President Donald Trump was elected.
Jay Bunkie, you were just ahead of Brian Fair. Just 2 seconds ahead of him.
Went from 51 million to 133 million in 1 year.
And that happened when President Donald Trump was elected.
Who's the president of the
Remember, President Trump stand back and stand by. That man.
National Socialist Party? You know? You paid him $70,000. He was field source number 30. I just want to know who he is. Do you know who he is?
Mr. Chairman, that's an allegation in the indictment that will be responded to by counsel in the Middle District of Alabama.
My time has expired. The chair now recognizes.
And Rip Tip, I've said that. We covered the article when Omar said that her, what was the term she used? Like accountant, maybe? She said accountant. Said her accountant had got the number wrong from 30 million down to 150,000. And I said, that's weird. I said, that's fishy. I said, investigate it. But that doesn't prove that she did anything wrong immediately. I just said that needs to be proven, right? That's all that I said. I just don't believe stuff without evidence, but I think it should be investigated. I'm not saying don't investigate Ilhan Omar. Go ahead, investigate her. That's weird. Her accountant fucked up that bad? Maybe the accountant needs to be in jail. But yeah, investigate that. No problem. So this is, let me see. How long is his opening? We might go over a little bit because I want to finish this SPLC section. Yeah, I'm not going to do his whole statement, but I'll post it in the Discord. I will play this clip from Raskin. Raskin is going to be, Jim Jordan is the chairman. Raskin is going to be the minority member. He had a 13-minute opening statement, which is why I'm not going to play the entire thing. But I will play, if we are talking about fraud, if we are talking about defrauding people, maybe look in your own home first.
Well, my friends, we know what a real fraud looks like. Consider a fraud called Trump University, a scam from top to bottom where 9,000 victims joined 3 different class action lawsuits to complain about the fact that they were cheated out of thousands of dollars for a university that existed in name only, without a real curriculum, without real professors, without an actual campus, or any way to keep their extravagant and seductive promises to their students. The thousands of outraged victims were not silent. They came forward to complain, and they won a $25 million settlement against Donald Trump and the purveyors of this fraud. One former instructor at Trump University said it, quote, preyed upon the elderly and uneducated to separate them from their money. Another former instructor said the institution was, quote, a total lie. That's what real fraud looks like. What have SPLC's donors done in light of this criminal indictment? They've not lined up to file class action suits or to denounce the SPLC. They continue to support the SPLC's works. Donations to the organization have gone up since this fraudulent indictment was brought down by the Trump administration.
Not to mention Trump Airlines, Trump Steaks, Trump's cancer charity, which he got sued because he funneled that money and it didn't actually go to children with cancer. He used it to commission a portrait of himself that he still has. He is no longer allowed to run a charity in the state of New York, on top of his fraud about the over-assessment of Mar-a-Lago. So he had that fraud as well. What else do you want? What else do you want? You're entrusting a fraudster to find fraud. That's interesting. Oh, on top of the amount of fraudsters he has pardoned over this last year and a half. But sure. Okay, a few more things before we get out of here. So this was, what did this one he said? Yeah, so I'm not going to play it, but I'll just show you what it looks like. So again, Jim Jordan came out after this hearing, went right on Fox News. Oh no, I'll play it actually. To say this, which is what I told you they're doing now.
Scam, and it paid off for them. They made a ton of money. But my biggest takeaway from all this is, while they're doing all this, tripled their income after the crazy events that they helped put together where they were...
Because why are they going after the SPLC, first offender? Why is the DOJ under Trump going after the SPLC when they could be going after Trump's fraud? Why are they why did they write a memo that allows Trump, his family, and his businesses to be exempt from audit and prosecution of their taxes in perpetuity? Why? It's not a moral grandstand. Fix your own home before you go after other people. This indictment is full of holes. But Jim Jordan chose to litigate it on TV and for clips instead of waiting for the court case. He chose to take the fact that Brian Fair cannot and should not answer these questions because there is pending litigation as evidence of crime. Because he chose not to answer.
in coordinating some of the people they were paying, coordinating
Cool guy, I can make you a sandwich. Do you like aqua tofana?
that event in Charlottesville, where they almost
They're not, though, king shit. That's not true. What they did is they paid informants to infiltrate. So they're doing exactly what they said they were going to do.
tripled their income. The real problem is they became the standard. The DOJ, the Biden DOJ was meeting with the Southern Poverty Law Center every single quarter. They brought in SPLC.
Oh, okay. So the SPLC was coordinating with the Biden administration's DOJ to give them information on the informants that they had. Oh, okay.
People to train their prosecutors to look for hate. And of course, the groups they labeled hateful were all conservative pro-family groups like the Family Research Council, like Moms for Liberty, but they scam.
And the KKK and Patriot Front and Proud Boys. And you see what the problem is? They're coming after our people. Our people being racist, transphobic bigots. That's why they're going after the SPLC. Because the SPLC went after them because they are part of hateful fucking right-wing groups. This is SPLC. This one, I guess, shocked the room. I loved it. Talking about ending the program and why. Hold on, I want to finish this because I can't, I gotta go over so I can finish it, but I have to feed my kids too, so I can only go over a little bit.
But the indictment says that these informants and field sources were encouraging other people to attend these hate rallies.
King shit, I never said there was no Somali fraud. I said that, do you know who the ringleader of that fraud was? And they didn't fund the KKK to do KKK activities. They funded an informant to give them information about what the KKK was doing. Did you read the indictment? King shit, how long is the indictment? How many pages is it?
And I'm saying, okay, so you don't have to answer that specifically, but is that a good thing in general?
Again, all the allegations in the indictment,
Do you wish,
Chairman Jordan,
okay,
will be addressed.
do you wish you hadn't have done the program? You said the program was successful, helpful, but now you're stopping it.
We stopped the program because we believe hate and extremism has migrated significantly online.
No, that's true. It's harder to infiltrate actual physical groups now. They don't meet like they used to, right? Because those hate groups have moved online. So that's true. It's harder to infiltrate and have informants for those groups when it is spread online. Like wildfire. Reddit. And also, yeah, you blew their cover. Also that. But again, that part's true. Now the last part he says is a little petty, but it's also true.
Hate and extremism has migrated significantly online and into government agencies.
Wow, that's.
It's true. It's fucking true. The hate groups have moved into government agencies. They have. Donald Trump appoints them. He puts them in their cabinet. He hires them. Yeah. Yeah, he's not fucking wrong.
We stopped the program because we believe hate and extremism has migrated significantly online and into government agencies.
Wow, that's big. That makes no sense.
Does it?
Mr. Chairman, I've got a UC request.
But the indictment says...
Mic drop. I'm just going to say. Mic drop. Mic drop on that one. Okay. Let me get here. Almost done. Okay, I have a few more. I'll get to Audie real quick and then, and my husband. What's up, babe?
So, like the unnamed individual that was a convicted felon for his part in a cross burning, that's how the SPLC finds these people, is because of public filings. It's not like they can buy some harvested email list of hate group members.
Right. They're like, they were convicted. Let's see.
They rely on court documents. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They rely on public court documents to find these people to then reach out and pay them. So...
first offender, that's a wild pivot. You said, so what? You literally had a trans deputy health secretary pushed her agenda and yours. No, because she's the deputy, or she was the deputy, so it would have been Javier Becerra, who's the leading candidate in the governor's race. Shut up!
Trans community doesn't compare to...
Shut up! Who's the leading candidate in the governor's race in California right now. So, okay, go ahead.
I was just saying a member of the trans community doesn't compare to a member of a right-wing hate group.
Not at all. All right. Hi, Ari.
You can't. What about it?
I was just gonna remind people. I'm sure everyone here remembers it, but just a friendly reminder: when Jim Jordan, and this is why he lacks in credibility, worked as I think he was like an assistant coach. There were at a college, right, Ohio State University, there were allegations that was brought to him about the head coach of sexual misconduct, and he didn't report it, and he still denies it, yet the men that this occurred to have spoken out vehemently about that they complained directly to him, and he ignored it. So remember, this is who you guys elect in states like Ohio, so... Stop acting like you care about children while also clapping for the man that is trying to muck up a pending trial.
Right. So I have a few more clips that were in this same judiciary hearing. This is Representative Lofgren talking to the SPLC about the outcome of the fact that Congress is undermining what the SPLC has done for decades. Oh my God, they both go.
If Congress tries to diminish...
And guys, I am going overtime here to finish these few videos that I do have. Can we please complete that goal? There are 154 of you. Apparently, we couldn't get to 200,000 likes. I don't know what happened. You guys decided at the end of the day that you hated me and didn't want to do this anymore. I don't know why you gave up. It's very disappointing. The fight continues, and you guys couldn't even tap for me. And 3-5 left in my goal. Let's try to get that accomplished with a $1 train, $2 train to the Cash App, Venmo, PayPal in the link trees in my bio. Let's get that done, guys, while we finish these videos up, okay?
If Congress tries to diminish SPLC and dismiss its warnings about groups like the Proud Boys and Oath Keepers, what lessons would we miss about the threat posed by organized domestic extremism to our American democracy?
Thank you, Congressman Longwood. The lessons we would miss is that all of us are less safe with the threat of domestic terrorism, that these groups...
Balaban, actually, I'm going to disagree with you. Although Donald Trump is an adjudicated sexual assaulter and he has 26 other claims, actually Stormy Daniels, the porn star that he slept with, never accused him of sexual assault or rape. I actually will push back on that. That's not true. Stormy Daniels never accused him of that.
That both express hate, that express white supremacy, that terrorize various groups are a danger to all of us. And we need to know about them. We need to know about what they say, and we need to know about the actions that they take. That's what we'll miss.
They're trying to tear down even private nonprofits that go after these hate groups. Why would you do that? Because they're not going after them. They just pardoned a bunch of them, right? 1,500 January 6ers. Interesting. She did say he had a tiny penis, though. She did say that. That is true. This is Joe Neguse from Colorado. And talks about the fact that the SPLC has for years worked with the administrations. So why are we going after them when they have been honest about what they did? W's, I said we could $1 train it, but huge W's. I want to see W's to Kelly. Thank you so much for the $35 to complete the goal, saying you deserve it. Thank you. I really was making it a crowdfund thing so that it didn't have to be all on one person, but W's to you. Thank you so much for completing out the goal, guys. I appreciate it. Sometimes I have to be mean to you, not you, Kelly, but other people, but they like it when I'm mean to them. And I don't know why I have to be mean to you. Why do you like that? But here's Joe Neguse talking about the SPLC having deals with the DOJ for years, working with them to take down these hate groups. They worked together for decades, but for some reason with this administration, they are trying to tear them down.
I would tell you that, like you, the SPLC, as I understand it, has gone to the FBI on many occasions to provide...
Yeah, I know he didn't show up to court. Balaban? I know that. I'm very aware of the Stormy Daniels case. And the Stormy Daniels case wasn't Stormy Daniels. It was her testimony, but it was his payments, right? That was the 34 count felonies. That was his payments that he paid to her through Michael Cohen. But again, she never accused him of rape. We just have to be honest about that.
FBI on many occasions to provide the FBI with information about suspected criminal activity. And in fact, that criminal activity, the reported criminal activity, has ultimately been prosecuted. By the way, not by President Biden's Justice Department, but by Donald Trump's Justice Department. And the best example of this, which was brought up earlier, was the potential mass terror attack at a synagogue in Las Vegas. Mr. Fair, I think you've already attested to this, but just to be clear, your organization gave information from a paid informant to the FBI when Donald Trump was president. And Donald Trump's FBI used that information to prosecute someone to prevent them from engaging in this mass terror attack. Is that true?
That is correct.
That is correct.
Oh, okay. So even in Trump's first term, they worked together using the SPLC's information. But now they're going after them. I wonder why. So at this hearing, I have 2 more videos. But at this hearing, they had, his sister or one of his children, Dr. King's children. But she's the one that the other kids don't talk to. So they tokenized this woman. And Jasmine Crockett calls that out. Calls out the fact that they tokenized this woman, but didn't bring in his other children who disagree with her.
You know what? I hate that we have spent this much time, on SPLC, and we've not addressed the elephant in the room, the literal elephant in the room. The vast majority of the people on that side of the aisle, and for those of you that are at home, let me tell you, when I say that side of the aisle, I'm talking about the Republicans, the ones that brought this hearing. And again, you've heard that this is not the first hearing, but the vast majority of them are white men. White men are lecturing people of color because the vast majority, actually, any semblance of diversity comes from this side of the aisle. You want to tell people of color who is fighting for who? People of color do not feel comfortable or welcomed within your party. That's why you have to parade someone who has the name Dr. King attached to them so that people can be confused, because I have been reading the comments online and people are like, who is this Dr. King? Because you want them to believe that somehow she espouses who Dr. King was, yet you've yet to have MLK the third come in here. You've yet to have Dr. Bernice King, the ones that were actually raised by Dr. King, the ones that actually probably understand the teachings of Dr. King. And
Why? Why did you only have one specific one in there? Why? Could it be because you were tokenizing her? Could it be that? See, because what they did is the SPLC designated Turning Point USA and Charlie Kirk as a hate group. And by the way, congratulations to Charlie Kirk for the amount of year and month that he has been free from racist bigotry. We love that for him. People can change. They brought King in because she spoke to Charlie Kirk and apparently worked out their issues. And then she pivoted to transphobia in her conversation. It was interesting. But this is the last video I have for you today, unless I have one more that's a funny. It doesn't have to do with this, but we're going to end on a funny because Republicans are fucking beta simp cucks. They're so scared of everything, even questions, which we'll get to. But this is Jasmine Crockett refuting the testimony that we got from King, refuting the tokenization that the right people on the aisle tried to do, and talking about everything that Charlie Kirk said and the reason why he was designated a hate group.
So I know some of y'all are, caping for Charlie Kirk, because I done heard y'all talk about his organization over and over and over. So I'm not finna play with anybody who's gonna play with my time. So I'm going directly to Miss McCord. Professor, let me put some respect on your name. All right, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. Does that sound like a hater or not?
That sounds like a racial stereotype.
Okay, sounds good to me. We made a huge mistake when we passed the Civil Rights Act in the mid-1960s.
That sounds like someone who still adheres to racist views.
Okay. America has freedom of religion, of course, but we should be frank. Large, dedicated Islamic areas are a threat to America.
That is someone who can't accept that America is a multiracial, multi-religious place.
Okay, these all just happen to be comments from the fearless leader of Turning Point USA, so I could see where SPLC was going. I also think that it's so interesting that right now, just for those sitting at home, you may not know that Oversight is not having any hearings right now because the Republicans don't want to deal with the Epstein file, so they have shut down all of Oversight committee hearings, right? So
Which, by the way, I have not got to. I have an entire Epstein section so that we can go over the fact that Pam Bondi, in a private capacity, went into Congress and testified in a closed-door hearing and not under oath, but we do have her transcripts now. And Bill Gates, right now, Bill Gates is in a closed-door testimony as well. So it continues. Why? Because we will not let you forget it.
we've got an indictment for SPLC. I have still yet to see an indictment on any Epstein defendant. Not a one, but okay. And we want to talk about what happened in Charlottesville, and we are so upset about Charlottesville. All of a sudden, I would be interested to know which one of you had something to say about Charlottesville when it happened, because I don't think that y'all were saying those same things. In fact, our fearless leader at the time said that there were pretty fine people on both sides. You were okay with the tiki torches. You were okay with it. But I digress. I'm going to move on to Texas.
Love her. She called him out because it's true. Why are you so upset that this group paid informants to infiltrate hate groups? Why? Why did that make you mad? Could there be a reason for that? Let me see here. So I have one that I'm going to play that's just kind of a funny to me, and that is just, again, to show that conservatives and Republicans are scared little bitches. And it's all they have. This is Representative Whitman. Representative Whitman was being asked questions because Mike Johnson, as we played yesterday, talked about the fact we need to fix Medicaid, Medicare, and Social Security. We need to fix it, as in get rid of it, because it is our biggest expenditure. They wanted to ask Representative Whitman about that. What did Representative Whitman do? Well, he's a strong, alpha, conservative, pro-life family man. Of course he answered that question, didn't he? Oh, no, he faked being on a motherfucking phone call. That's what he did.
Congressman, what is Mike Johnson's secret plan to cut Social Security?
Hey, how you doing? I'm good. I'm good with that. Yeah, I'll be there in just a few minutes.
No response, sir?
I'm heading your way right now.
I want you to look at his phone screen when he picks it up to answer the phone. Look at his phone screen. Anybody who has a phone knows that this is not how phone calls work. We did it, Joe. W's to you guys. If Mia is yelling, we did it, Joe, that means you guys hit 200,000 likes. Thank you guys so much. I hate that I have to be mean to you, but if you like it, it's okay. Get on your knees for Mommy Dommy, Monty, and I appreciate you. Thank you guys so much for hitting 200,000 likes. I appreciate it so very, very much. So again, watch the phone screen. He gets asked about Mike Johnson's comments. Watch his phone screen when he answers this call.
What is Mike Johnson's secret plan to cut Social Security?
Hey, how you doing? I'm good. I'm good with that. Yeah, I'll be there in just a few minutes.
No response, sir?
I'm heading your way right now. Yeah, it's over at 416.
Congressman, what is Mike Johnson's secret plan to cut Social Security?
Listen, I appreciate that. I've got some more efforts that I want to talk to you about. There are actually more things that we have to be working on. Yeah, I want to make sure that we're putting
no response, sir.
Bill. Yeah, listen, thanks. I appreciate your help on this. I really do need some more of your input. Yeah, if you can actually reach out, I'll make sure that we do more of this. Yeah, listen, I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh my God, I have crabs.
Who is he talking to?
Nobody. So again, look, I want you to look when he pulls a phone out. It's an iPhone. It's obviously an iPhone. Look at where he clicks, okay? Because when you have an iPhone, right? When you click the hello button, it's down here. Now, iPhone has just instituted a new thing where if I'm like on a Google page or something, right? If I'm on a Google page, sometimes the phone call will show up in a little black bar up here. You can click that, it'll enlarge down here, and you can click hello up there, and the phone call will be up there. However, that's not where he clicks. He clicks down here. So I want you to watch his finger. When he answers this phone call, he does it down here. If you do it down there, the phone call is like the screen is going to stay phone, right? Like here, I'll call Olive. I'll show you guys. Watch. Okay, calling Olive. She answers. It stays on a phone screen like this. That's what it looks like. Okay? It wouldn't move. So
That's a cute picture you have of me. I love it.
I love that picture of you. So he's going, so it's, watch his finger. It's hilarious to me. He's not on a phone call.
It's Mike Johnson's secret plan to cut
Down there. He hits right down here.
Social Security.
Hey, how you doing? I'm
It's
good
not
with
a
that.
fucking
I'll
phone.
be there in just a few minutes.
No response, sir?
I'm heading.
Nothing.
He does what
And to cut
people
Social
do.
Security.
Just walks away. Oh,
He does.
Oh, wait.
He went back.
What does his screen do when he pulls it down?
Secret plan to cut Social Security.
He swiped out.
Look, there was no black bar either. If it was the black bar thing, it would have been a black bar right up here if he was on a phone call. It wasn't. He was not on a phone call. You guys are such cucks.
So he does what every person that I've seen who's selfish sometimes does. When you walk by someone at the grocery store and they're like selling Girl Scout cookies or they're asking for something, and you just pick up your phone and pretend to have a phone conversation.
G3, you said CU Boulder started a case study into Trump devotion syndrome. I love that. That sounds like the most Colorado shit. What's a cuck? Cap. A cuck is somebody, it's based off the word cuckold, which is when your wife is sleeping with somebody else. You are a cuckold. It was worse than McConnell's fake falling, yeah. I'm so busy. Right. I cannot. Which, hi, Jesse. Okay. That's it for me. I think we're going to raid Lainey. I think. Yes. That's who we're going to raid. Yeah. So we are going to raid Lainey. YouTube and Twitch, you guys, I don't really have anywhere to send you, so I'm not gonna. So I'm gonna say bye to Twitch and YouTube. Guys, thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it, even if you are hate watching, but nobody called. 0.
Y'all were all about calling me this morning. Every single one of you decided to call me and not answer my prompt. You guys barely could comprehend what I said, but you wouldn't have a conversation with Monica. I see how it is.
I warn you ahead of time. I will ask you to source your information. And I know that you don't have it because it's all feelings in your tummy. And that's why you didn't call today. Literally 0 fucking phone calls today. So, guys, try and come back a little braver. Find your cojones, pick them up and hold them in your hand. Twitch, however, I love you, you little angels, you over there on Twitch. And YouTube, thank you, by the way, Justin, Eli, you guys are fucking wonderful with what you do. As we saw, that my TikTok audience got to experience the hellscape that is the YouTube chat. It's really fun to read through. It's really fun to mod. So thank you so much, Eli and Justin, for sifting through that fucking cesspool that is YouTube. But speaking of Twitch and YouTube, I love you all so very much. I will be back tomorrow, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, whatever time that is for you. If you didn't, Joseph, if you're still there, please remember to watch that video I showed you about Epstein. And